So while I was walking around today, scavenging, I did happen to find an old water jug that had been like knocked up probably during the flooding. And I was thinking to myself, this would be a good opportunity to show how to make a water filtration system. Now, in the wild, you don't have to have a water jug to do that. You could get like a piece of wood, and like if you had a stump, you could actually burn out the stump so it's almost like a bucket, and then poke a hole in the bottom. You can also build a pyramid out of wood and well, basically a tripod, and you could put different pieces of fabric on the tripod and do the filtration system through that, which I'll explain that more in a second after I kind of show you what I'm doing here. So what I'm going to do is take my knife and I'm just going to cut the bottom of this out. So obviously boiling water is always one of the safest methods you can do, but it also is very time consuming and it also uses up a lot of your resources. So if you can find other ways to get clean water, that's the best you can do. So just utilizing some of the stuff that I found in nature and what I have on me, we can actually make a water filter that will clean the water for me. Now prior to starting the recording, I went down to the river and got some river water and filled up a couple of these containers. And what we're going to do is first, since there's a hole in the bottom and I'm going to be putting items into this, I don't want them to be able to come out of the bottom. So I'm just going to take a piece of my cotton material . Guess I'm not as strong as I thought I was. And I've just tore off a section. And I'm going to stuff that down in the bottom here. What that's going to do is block off the bottom hole so everything I put in after that can't come out. It's also going to be a final form of filtration. Next, I brought over some of the charcoal from my fire last night. There we go. And I've put it here. I'm just going to take a rock and kind of break it up a little bit. This is basically the same method that I would use if I found some herbs or nuts or something out in the wild and I wanted to get them crushed up or grind them into a finer powder. And this doesn't have to be super fine. I just wanted to get it a little more broken down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that back the way I want it. Now I'm just going to fill this container up with a layer of charcoal. Alright. So we have the charcoal, and I'm just going to press it in there pretty good. Alright, next I'm just going to get some river sand here. and put a layer of sand over top of that. The main thing to remember is you want your finer things on bottom and you want your more coarse materials towards the top so that the water can cycle through. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, so next I'm just going to grab some leaves just off the ground here. So I might be off film for just a second here while I'm picking some of these. Alright, so I just put a layer of that in, and then I'm just going to get some gravel. Some fine gravel, and then maybe a little more coarse on top. Okay, so this is basically what the finished product looks like. So you have a layer of cotton on the bottom, we have a layer of charcoal, we have a layer of sand, a little bit of grass, and then some smaller stones with some bigger stones on top. Then we can just take it, put it over our container, like so. You can see that it's coming out through the bottom, hopefully, filling up my cup. So like I was saying earlier, you can see the technique that I just used with this jug. So it might be a little more clear now. I was saying if you made a tripod and then you put layers of fabric, almost like the steps of a ladder. So you would tie it up layer over layer and then put each one of these items in the center of the fabric, pour the water in from the top, and then it would drop down through the tripod, and then you would filter from the bottom of the tripod. So it's pretty obvious to me that I've had a good fulfilling day. If this was just a normal day and I was out here alone trying to survive, I would be making sure that my fire stayed lit, probably have a secondary fire. I would be going around trying to fish, setting up different traps, checking those out, making sure I have plenty of water. Other methods I could use would maybe be to take like a tarp, throw some logs down, or dig a pit, put some sort of a tarp or sheeting or whatever I happen to have with me down on the ground. I could collect rainwater that way. So as long as I could just keep up with the fundamentals of collecting food, water, and staying dry and just staying sheltered, I mean really that would be my priority every day. And that is about full. So as you can see, that water was brownish when I put it in there, and that is a lot clearer now. Tastes good.